Happy day. I hope you all are doing great. And the vibe I'm getting today that I just want to share with you all is just enjoy, revel, being your unfiltered self. And you know that, you know, I kept hearing the word unfiltered and I was trying to think, oh, maybe I should say it some other way. It's like, no, the word really is unfiltered. I'm like, okay. Because, we always put different masks on and we cloud things and sometimes we don't always say what we mean, but we're trying to say things to be polite. I know in Japanese, I believe the term is, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, tatema, where it's just like you kind of have to read the air, read in between the lines. And the Japanese take it to a whole nother level, while us Westerners would just prefer things to be more direct. In Japan, it's more about, harmony and community and stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't know what the other person's thinking. That can especially be true in Japan just because of how the culture is. And that feeling today, that just like resonated where it's just like, I don't want to pretend. Like who wants to pretend all the time like, oh, you're the perfect this and perfect that. It's like, oh, I gotta add the filters, I gotta edit this. And it's like, oh, let's add this, let's take away that. And it's just like, why can't we just accept ourselves for who we are? And it's like, sometimes that's just like a huge ask for some people because, it's especially trained where I'm sure many of us live, where it's just like, if you look in the mirror, most people focus on the thing that they hate the most instead of the thing that they love the most. And it's just like, isn't that messed up? It's like you look at yourself in the mirror and like the first thing is like, ugh, I hate this, or like I hate my thighs, or like I hate my hair, or like I have dark bags under my eyes, or my face is covered in acne. And it's just like, how often do we look in the mirror and first comment on the most beautiful thing that we love about ourselves? We allowed ourselves to be conditioned this way to like always go for the negative. And I'm just like, just stop. Like, I'm not saying to ignore certain things. Like, obviously, there's things in life, and to a degree, there is some common courtesy with things, but it's just like, why do you have to filter everything? We filter and and tell ourselves lies all the time. Like, especially when we're excited about doing something and then like we get afraid to do something and then like the stories creep in. It's just like, oh, no, you can't do this. You're too young, you're too old, you don't have enough money, nobody knows you. And it's just like, why are we creating all these stories that aren't even true, that hasn't even happened yet, when you just had the idea like 5 seconds ago? And it's just like, there's something I heard today that, well, I heard or read, I don't remember, either way, it just somehow ended up in my brain. I don't remember how. But it's just like, we're human and we come from a long line of other humans, centuries, thousands of years, eons. There's a trace of us that goes way, way back in the past, long, long time ago, many generations ago. And each and every one of us, I don't care if you're old, young, black, purple, green, I don't, well, green, yeah, different. If humans are different colors, then we could probably have to have some conversation because something might be wrong. But you know, you know what I mean. I'm being unfiltered. I'm being silly. I'm being silly. But either way, we all have this lineage of people surviving, maybe even sometimes thriving. But we have this lineage of people surviving that, no matter the difficulties and things, they they moved on. They lived on. Yeah, maybe some of our ancestors and stuff didn't do it as well as compared to others, but so what? Like, they still lived full lives. Some lives might have been shorter than others, but it's all relative and comparative. Relative, not comparative. But there's just this lineage we have, even in our own lives, that congratulations, depending how old you are, you've had a success rate of surviving up until this point. It's just like, yeah, I've been alive for 87 years. I think I've done pretty good keeping myself up until this point. And it's just like, you know, I always find it funny when, when you see like the TVs, maybe you're lucky you get to meet them in real life, or you meet like the elders, and they just don't care anymore. They're just like, honey, I'm too old for this nonsense. Or they just say whatever is on their mind, and they don't care. They don't care what you think. They don't care what you say. They're going to do stuff anyway. And you know what? They're old. We let them. We're not going to change them. And isn't that interesting that that's a limiting belief? Because if you had someone in their 30s or 20s saying that, oh, the backlash would be much harder. But it's like, oh, grandma's 87. Grandma ain't changing anymore. And that's a belief. It's just like, grandma could change if she wanted to, but she doesn't want to. And like, just being that unfiltered and raw, sometimes we aren't like that with ourselves a lot. And because like we tell ourselves lies, it's like, oh, I want to do this, but I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the money, or I'm not good enough. I mean, it's heavy. Like carrying all that stuff around every day, it's heavy. It's just like, can we maybe take a pebble or two off a day at a time? Maybe breaking that down. Like, it'd be great if you could lift the whole boulders and stuff up. If you're ready to do that, awesome. I need tips. If y'all know how to remove boulders and limiting beliefs on grand scales like that, let me know. Hook me up. I've been working on my journey and dismantling a lot of different beliefs. But I'm just like, there are a few I still want to work on. It's just like, all right, like, I might need some help. And if y'all have suggestions, I'm open to hear that. Whatever permission slips works, right? So there's just this thing about like just being raw and unfiltered. I just find really appealing today, and I just wanted to share that with you, because it's like you have like the elders. It's just like they don't care anymore, or you have that one aunt or uncle who's non-traditional in whatever sense. They travel, they're kooky, crazy, but like they are living their best lives and they're radiant. And a lot of people, a lot of family members hate on them just because it's like they're not responsible. And it's just like, but they're expressing who they really are and having the time of their lives. I mean, yeah, everyone has their challenges. Maybe some people's challenges are relationships, sometimes it's money, sometimes it's da 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 da. But it's just like, when was the last time that you allowed yourself to be, just unfiltered? I can understand maybe you have family situations you don't feel like you can, and like, well, maybe see about being just unfiltered with yourself. Like, do you really like your current relationship? Do you really like your job? I mean, some people are so afraid to say what they really feel, and that can be disheartening. I mean, we all have different layers of that, and part of this human experience that we're having is, just taking all these dark, negative emotions, feelings, and transmuting them to something better, something lighter, something invigorating. And it's not like we're trying to deny the past has happened. We're incorporating it into our stories to build us up. Because, you listen to like any good story, like the hero struggles, they have problems, they have to find over ways to coming this, and then throughout time they get stronger and better. I mean, what was the last time you were the hero of your own story? When were you the main character, the protagonist, and stuff like that? Like, I like reading manga, and it's a very common theme, especially the past couple of years. It's like, oh, you get spirited away, or I think the term is, I I'm not gonna pronounce this. Like, I can see it in my brain. I'm not gonna pronounce it correctly. I can't. Nope. I'm not. I can't even spell right now. But this says you're spirited away to like another universe where there's magic and swords, or like, I woke up, I remember my past lives. I'm trying to use the stuff of past life to help with this life. And it's just like some of them are the main character of the story. Some of them are like the villainous or or they're like the side characters, but it's all about them making the story for them, like because they are the main characters of their own stories, whether they intend to do so or not. But when was the last time you were the main character of your story? Wow, isn't that little? Ooh, I'm feeling some energy on that. I don't know where that's coming from. That's me or a reflection of someone else, but it's just like, when was the last time you were the main character of your story? Wow, I feel like that's resonating. I feel like that will resonate with a lot of people. I don't know who exactly, but I just, when I said that, I just felt this overwhelming, like, woof. So I'm assuming at least some of y'all that hit a chord a little bit. And why not? Be the main character, do something silly, do something fun, unexpected. Maybe it's going to that restaurant you always wanted to go to because you saw it on Instagram. It's cute. Like, I actually have plans with a friend for like next weekend to try out this place because she saw something on Instagram. And I'm like, that's actually not far from where I live. And she's like, we should totally do it. I'm like, yeah. And I haven't seen this person in 20 years. You know, it is just like, yeah, about 20 years. And it's just like, just go with it. Like, just do something spontaneous, fun. Like, why not? And I understand maybe some of you might not feel like you can, or it's just like, it's out of my budget, da da da. It doesn't have to, it could be going to a different park. It could be maybe just even writing in your journal about a story that you see yourself in. You know, it could be a lot of different things. It could just be you enacting something in your room, just like playing pretend, because why not? Because we all have imaginations. Like, playing pretend isn't just for little kids anymore. Like, you know, like, have some fun, like, create a story in your head, you know? Sometimes we just have to do things a little unexpected to like just get us out of like that conditioned frame a little bit. And it's just like, sometimes when you take these unexpected steps one at a time, it begins to snowball, and then you slowly start thinking differently and stuff like that. Because it's super, it can be, mm, if you can choose to make it easy to just do the same thing over and over again because it's predictable, you know, and then it's just like, but isn't something predictable kind of get boring after a while? You know, it's like, you know, where's this sense of adventure and fun? And, you know, I'm sure, you know, for some of y'all who have kids, there's never a predictable moment. But it's just like, just finding like the nuance of things where you could just like take a mundane moment and like maybe interact with the mundane moment in a like a completely different way, you know? It's just like maybe just having some fun and joy with something, or maybe it's like if you're expecting to have a phone call with someone, just change the vibe of the phone call. Like, just come at the phone call with a completely different energy that than you normally do. Like, you could pretend like you like won like this super big prize, and like just have that energy as like you talk to people. People are like, oh, what's going on? Like, oh, she's super happy for some reason. Like, okay, like who doesn't want to be the person that lights up a room just because they're like happy, you know? You know, it's like that main character vibe and stuff like that. It's just like they light up a room just by entering. It's like, I think we all want that at some point. And it's just like, and I think that's, you know, I believe this is my conception. I could be wrong. This wasn't the case for me, but I know a lot of people, that's one of the reasons like they love getting married, because it's like, it's the bride's day. All the attention's on me, like the big gown and like the reception and the flowers. I, that personally wasn't for me. Like, and you know, all awesome if y'all like that, you know. Like, I think weddings can be fun. You know, that just wasn't personally my vibe. I just wanted something small. And I felt good that day because I was with my partner, and you know, it's just like Some people want to make a big event out of it, and that's awesome. And some people don't want to make a big event of it, and that's also awesome. Because me personally, I wanted the money to go more towards the honeymoon in Japan than the day itself. Because I'm like, I want the experience being in Japan. To me, that was worth way more than the day of. And because for me, my main character in my story was I'm finally getting to go to another country that I thought about going to since I was like in college, and like trying all these Japanese foods, and like visiting the shrines, and like just seeing the beauty and nature of everything. That was my main story. That was one of the peaks, because in our life we have many peaks, but that was, for me, that was the peak. That was a peak of my main character. So I felt the main character, going to the different things, staying at like a traditional like house and stuff like that, and like trying to figure out the trains and like the hot springs. Oh, I love the hot springs. The hot springs were so nice. Ugh. I can't wait to go back. I love hot springs. I wish we had hot springs here, but we have no volcanoes here. But yeah, and that's where my peak story, a peak, not the peak, but that was like one of my main character vibes, is my journey in Japan. That's where my main character moment was shown the most at that time. It wasn't for the wedding, and that's totally fine. For some people, it is the actual wedding day. For the wedding day was a peak, but the trip was more of a peak because I've been with my partner for a long time, and it's just like, I love you. I always love you. I love you every day. But the fact that we're going to Japan and like having fun and like visiting places like Akihabara and Shinjuku and Kyoto and Osaka and Pokemon Cafe, because, oh, big tip, apparently like a lot of times with like these theme places, like you have to make reservations. We didn't know that, so when we were there, we wanted to go to the Pokemon Cafe in Tokyo because it was actually very close to our hotel, but they were already booked weeks, even weeks past that we were there. We're like, crap. We did go to a Pokemon Center like to buy plushies and things like that, but it was just like, no. So what do we do? Because we were planning to go to Kyoto and Osaka anyway. We found one in Osaka that we went to that had openings, because Tokyo's a definitely much bigger city than like Osaka. So we had an adventure going to Osaka and going to the Pokemon Cafe where we met Chef Pikachu. We got to shake his hand, and we ate so much expensive mediocre food, because you don't go to themed cafes because it tastes good. It was okay. You go there for the experience and the fun and the vibes, and it was so fun. I felt like a Snorlax afterwards because we ate so much. And if you also don't know a lot about Japan and these Asian countries, it is so much rice. So much rice. By like the fourth day, I'm just like, I want a salad. Because it's just so much rice with everything. I'm just like, I'm not a big rice person. I'm just like, I need a salad. No more rice. Yeah, and we all get to choose like when we have the moments that we're most excited about. And which moment are you going to take to feel really excited about? Like, are you going to look at moments throughout the year? Are you going to look at moments throughout the month? Are you going to look through moments each and every day, like certain times of the day? I mean, it's all up to you. Like, I'm just getting all this right now, and I'm just like, ooh, how am I going to do this? I'm like, huh. Because now I'm actually thinking about it. It's like, oh, when am I gonna play the main character? Like, how can I do that? I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna do it every day. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do it every day. I'm actually intimidated right now by being the main character of my story every day. Like, that just sounds really intimidating right now. I'm just like, ooh, that's okay. So it's like, okay, that gives me feedback. That's something for me to work on, and that could be a great thing for you. Like, when are you going to be the main character of your story? Like, are you going to do it like once a month, a couple times a year, every day? And I think when you find that it feels a little uncomfortable, you kind of know where you are with that. It's like, oh, can we work on that? Do we even want to work on that? Maybe we only want to do it certain times, and that's okay too. Because unlike in stories, when we're like reading stories or like watching movies, we don't really see day-to-day stuff, but it's like those little day-to-day stuffs that adds up to those peak moments. But movie time editing, we don't see the day-to-day stuff that adds to the moments. We just see the the peak rising. We don't see the plateau. We see, so if this is life, 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 and then like movie moment was like, ooh, something exciting. And then life, 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 like something exciting. A lot of those plateau parts are edited. And it's just like, let's create more of those little peak moments. Even if it's like something silly. Maybe it's just like when you're making food or like eating ice cream or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm actually trying to picture this in my head as I'm trying to talk and articulate this all to you at the same time, because I'm like trying to figure out like how can I do that? Like, so I would love to hear how, like, when do you play the main character in your life, in your story, and like what are like different things that you want to add to it? Like, what suggestions do you have? Like where's the excitement and fun with it? Like how do you change the stuff into something bigger than it is, like bigger than life? Because sometimes a moment happens and then poof, it's huge. And yeah, that was actually really exciting. And this was really exciting for me to share with you all. And I guess this is one of my big main character moments right now, because I'm just like, I just came up with this and I'm sharing it with you, and I'm excited to hear what goes on. And then like maybe there's collaboration, like I hear different stories in the comments. It's like, ooh, that's interesting, like maybe I could try that. And yeah, so I hope you all have a great day. I'm gonna leave it here and looking forward to hearing from you. Okay, bye.